Alright, we're back with another battle report here, continuing playing the Grand Tournament missions. We're 2,000 points, Salamanders taking on the Tyranids once again. We did receive some feedback, appreciate everyone that's watching the videos, we truly do. So instead of just a full recap at the end of the turns, we're actually going to do like kind of split it up, so do the movement, shooting, then kind of do a recap of those two phases, and then the next two. So that way it'll be a little bit easier to follow along. It'll still be concise and not a really long battle report to watch. So we'll take a look at my force of 2,000 points of Tyranids. It is a Leviathan Batallion, and I'm trying out something a little bit different here. I'm actually going to be trying to evolve this list and see how it goes, with the core of the list being the Prime and the Warriors, and kind of evolve around them and see how it goes. So it is Leviathan, starting on the HQ slot. We have my Tyranid Prime. He's equipped with the relic for the Lash Whip Bonesword, the Reaper of Oblitrax, I think it's called. He has Toxin Sacs and Adrenal Glands, just because I had the points for them. And I have a Malanthrope. Then in my troop slot, I have 9 warriors. So I am in the process. I have my new warriors. I'm painting them up that actually have the Boneswords and the Deathspitter. So I have a bunch more to paint up. So I'm still using my older ones for now. But all have bone swords, and I have 3 Venom Cannons, which will be represented by these 3 off-color guys. Then I have 2 units of 10 Hormagants. My idea is just zip around for objectives, and I'm going to try to really play an objective game this round, with lots of bodies and Leviathan helping with those saves. And I have 2 Lictors. They're going to help with my secondary strategy. Then I have a max unit of Zoanthropes. Really liking them. Great objective holders. Plus with the Leviathan, they'll be very durable. 3 Hive Guard just for a little shooting support. And I brought 9 Raveners, all with Rending Claws except one guy. So I'll probably just mark this dude here, or there's one of the guys that looks a little bit different. But they all have Rending Claws, just didn't have the points to put it on the last one. 2 Carnifexes with Enhanced Senses, 1 set of Devourers, and Heavy Venom Cannon on each of them. I'm just working on modeling my Heavy Venom Cannon. Then 2 Acid Spray Tyrannofexes. And that is 2,000 points of Tyranids.
Alright, we got 2,000 points of Salamanders here. I'm running Salamander Successor as always. My 2 chapter tactics are Master Artisans and Warded. So the Master Artisans reroll 1 hit, 1 wound. And Warded on mortal wounds, I get to roll D6, and on a 5-up, I don't take that mortal wound, so that'll be nice. In my HQ slot, I got the Captain. He is actually a Terminator Captain, Terminator Armor. He's running Combi Melta and Relic Blade. He's my Warlord. And then that little guy right there, he's representing my Chaplain, who's got his Combi Melta and a couple litanies. For the troop slot, I have these 3 units right here. I'm running them as Intercessors. 1 group of Shooty Intercessors, 2nd group of Shooty Intercessors, and 1 of Assault Intercessors. For the elite squads, I have the Aggressors over there running the regular Boltstorm Gauntlets. And I got the Dreadnought up there. He's running the regular Heavy Flamer combat weapon and a multi-melta, and the Terminators right next to them, they're the Tartarus Terminators. They got Grenade Harness, they have all Chain Fists, and the autocannon on that guy in the back right there. For my fast attack, I got the Bike Squad up top. Sergeant's running the Thunderhammer. 1 guy's running the Chainsword, and the other guy's running the Melta Gun. So that guy in the middle with the big gun, he's the Melta. Also run my regular Suppressors as my 2nd fast attack. And then in my heavy support, I have a Land Raider Achilles, who's running Quad Launcher and the multi-meltas, and the Predator with double las cannons. Both of the heavy supports have Hunter Killer missiles on them, so to round out my 2,000 points of Salamanders.
Alright, so looking at the table, we are playing the Scouring from the Tournament Pack 2020, the Grand Tournament Pack. So looking at the table here, we have the deployment zones marked out with the black dice. There are 5 objectives. So there's the other zone there, and we are obviously playing with the new table dimensions, which we've just gridded off here. Which traditionally it's been a 4x6 table that we've used. So looking at the objectives, we have one here, one right inside of our main central building, and then one over in this zone, and then one right down here. Now, in terms of objectives, the Scouring is a little bit different for primaries. You need to hold 2, hold 3, or hold more instead of the regular just hold 1, hold 2. So going to be a little bit more focus on holding lots more objectives than usual. I mean, obviously you still want to hold lots, but this one is a little bit more important. So in terms of secondaries now, I chose engage in all fronts, deploy scramblers, and I figured the banners would be a good one. And then he chose bring it down, cut off the head, and strategic scan, which is the secondary for the mission. So essentially he just needs to scan at least 4 of these objectives, one over there, and that's just an action that lasts until the following command phase. So pretty interesting choice. I was debating on that one, but I think the banners will be a good one. I do have some fast-moving units that I can use some stratagems to get them up on banners quickly. And at least throw my banner up, especially with the middle one, and then force them to have to focus on that a bit more, or else I can scoop up a couple extra points. So we're going to roll off here, see who gets to choose which zone, and then we'll come back after the deployment. Let's take a look. I have a 5. 5. Oh, okay. 5 and a 4. Okay. So, the deployment zone. So actually, it'll be good. We'll kind of talk through our mindset. We both looked at the deployment zones before the game began, and this side is really nice because with this objective, you can sit behind this line of sight blocking piece of terrain, and you're really blocked out from everywhere. And same with that one over there. You could just hug the side there, and you're pretty protected. However, this side does have another objective right here, which is very nice. And then the other one over there, you can hold inside the building, but you have to be inside. But however, the objective in the middle, you can actually control from outside of this. So I think I will take this side. So I think that's the one you want it to. So we'll come back after deployment, and then we'll find out who is going first. Alright, so we've gone ahead and deployed here. So looking at my Tyranid forest, the deployment zone was really weird, where it was like kind of inset a bit and not as far forward. So I'm gunning for it. I bunched up. Almost all my units are in range of the Malanthrope. I spaced them out nicely. So going to be getting a nice little buff there. So I have Zoanthropes, Carnifexes, Tyranids, other Tyranids is hidden in here. Raveners are lined up across, all spaced really close together, so coherency shouldn't be an issue at all. And all the Hormagants there, and a group in the middle. Prime sitting happy there. Hive got our bunch right against the wall there, protected. Unless he gets right up here, which, I mean, if he's at that point, I should have something to counter it. Or if he's there unthreatened, I am not doing well. So, over on this end, we have the bikes, the Dreadnought. Some intercessors poking around in the center here and there, and then we have the Predator, the Land Raider, suppressors up top, and the aggressors over on this side. So really focusing, by the looks of it, on a strong flank on this side, rightfully so, where there's so much cover. I can do a bit of sneaking around with my Raveners. The Terminators are going to be teleporting in. 2 of my Lictors are going to be appearing out of nowhere very soon. So we're going to go ahead and roll and see who gets first turn. So big roll here. It's going to be Tristan. 3. Do you want first turn?
Oh, baby, I want first
It's his
turn.
first turn in forever. So we were actually discussing before, if I got first turn, I think it would be an uphill battle for him, just because I could get set up moving around. But where he has first turn, he's going to be able to do, I think, a lot of damage. So we'll have to Wither the Storm. Hopefully Leviathan works out for me, but it should be an interesting game. This is a Salamanders game to win. They're out for it. So we'll come back and see what's going on after moving and shooting. Alright, so that's the end of Salamanders Turn 1. So just a little bit of shooting. It was a quick turn. Honestly, just getting in position to let me come forward and hopefully dice into stuff. So we took out one of the Raveners, dropped one down to 1 wound, took out 5 Hormagants, and I guess the big story of the first turn is the Canon absolutely withered the storm from the suppressor. So we'll come down and take a look from the Salamander angle. And thanks to the Malanthrope, actually, he missed with 4 shots with the -1 to hit. So the suppressors fired down that lane. Aggressors moved over this way, getting ready to come up this way and hopefully move up onto that objective. Assault Intercessors moved up to the middle, getting ready to hopefully wither this storm from the Tyranid and Zoanthropes, if I can make some good advance rolls. Everyone else is kind of shimmying around the middle. Predator stayed where it was. The Predator fired in at the Tyranid and took down 7 wounds on the Tyranid. Not bad. And the Dreadnought moved up, performed the action on the objective here to scan, where the action isn't just for infantry, so he does have a nice advantage where he can use the bikes and the Dreadnought to move up and perform the scan. And then the other Intercessors moved over this way. He's also placing himself in such a way, too, that he can deny the Lictors whenever they decide to come in. So that's it for Salamanders Turn 1. We'll come back after Tyranids Turn 1, shooting and moving. Alright, that's the end of Tyranids Turn 1. So on a whole, this was my movement. I'll show you how everything's spread out. So the Gaunts that were here moved down. I denied his Terminators coming in anywhere inside my deployment zone at all. I mean, he can still come up in front of my units on this side, but honestly, with the amount of firepower and decent close combat units I have, I'm okay with that. So the Gaunts came down here. They did my deployment zone scrambler, so that settled away. Hive Guard stayed still. The Warriors moved up to get in range of the Intercessors down the lane there with the Venom Cannons. Everyone else moved up over here. Zoanthropes moved to the side to grab that objective and also do some smiting into the Assault Intercessors. So story this turn started out incredibly promising for the Tyranids. Reduced these guys down to 5 Intercessors. He failed morale, and 1 guy ran with the initial failed, and another guy ran on the morale check. And then the Dreadnought was dropped down to 1 wound. Between this Tyranid actually did really well. So I used my Pathognetic Slime on that Tyranid shooting at these guys. Hindsight, if I did that, I would have actually killed him between him and the Hive Guard. So then I double tapped with the Hive Guard, got 4 hits, rolled 4 ones, used another CP, got another 1. So he had 1 wound left. So really unfortunate, because that would have denied him capturing that objective with his strategic scan. So aside from that, it's still kind of a slow turn on both our parts. Like, some things started out promising, then quickly went downhill. So we're actually both at pretty decent strength. I am ahead of him on objectives being held for the start of this next turn. So he's got to chip me off quite a bit to get me away from the objectives. But we'll see what happens after Salamanders Turn 1. Or Turn 2, yes. So as the game progresses and it gets a little bit more advanced, we will be kind of breaking down the recap a bit more. Just with this first turn where it's kind of everything moved. But please leave your feedback. If you would rather see the breakdown after each phase, we can definitely look into doing that. But we'd like to hear from you. All right. So what we're actually going to do is we are going to kind of film after the movement and shooting phase. That way, again, it won't be like at the end of the turn going over the whole narrative. So what happened here? The Land Raider moved up. The Intercessors on this side advanced up. The Dreadnought with 1 wound, he stomped his way up there. Everyone else just kind of moved forward. The Predator and Suppressor stayed still. Now with the Aggressors who are in here, who moved up to grab the objective, and the Intercessors in the middle, they both performed the action to grab those objectives. Now they have to live until the start of his next command phase. If so, that's 10 points. So I'm going to, I probably will kill them, but now I have to focus a lot of resources to ensure that they die. Low chance I'll kill the Intercessors. It could happen, but I mean, it's based off him taking out the Tyranid. So it'll be kind of hard to say, but that's the plan as of right now. So we're going to go into the shooting for Salamanders Turn 2. So that's it for the shooting phase here. So we'll start on this side of the table. Unfortunately, the Malanthrope went big today. So with the Malanthrope with -1 to hit, it prevented 2 las cannon shots going through, prevented 4 shots going through for the suppressors. So only 2 wounds were dealt with that Tyranid, and I actually think I made a bunch of Leviathan saves too. So he is just sticking around. Then over on this side, everyone else moved up, as you've seen earlier, to shoot in at that Tyranid and shoot in at the Raveners. So you killed, I think, 3 Raveners altogether, dropped another down to a wound. and then you took that Tyranifex down to 4 wounds and made a bunch of Leviathan saves. Actually, I made a ton of Leviathan saves with them. I think I actually made 5 of them, so really good rolling on my part. However, the turn isn't over. We're actually going to get it on camera here. He's making it, attempting a 12-inch charge into the gaunts. No, you want to CP it? You got 10.
As well.
He's got 11 CP, so on camera, no. So that's it for Salamanders Turn 2. So for points scored, nothing yet, but you did complete your action there, so that is secured, and then you have those 2 actions you're hopefully going to secure. You probably get that one for sure, but then that one we'll see. So that's it. We'll come into the start of Tyranids Turn 2. Alright, so that's it for Tyranids Turn 3 moving. So I advanced up with these Zoanthropes, rolled one of my advance roll, I command pointed that. To get them up and steal that objective from him. I needed a 5 or a 6 with the advance to go up and snake that. The Hormagants moved around just to kind of still deny the Terminators coming in, but getting ready to pounce up on the objective. I only have 1 banner up as of right now. These guys activated scramblers in the neutral zone. Everyone else just stayed, so I moved a few warriors over just to get some sight lines down at the intercessors through the middle. And then both my Lictors actually hit a nice spot to come in back here. So this Lictor in the back is inside the deployment zone. We have it marked there. So he dropped my last scrambler, so I've got 10 points coming in for me for that. And the other Lictor is 9 inches away from here and there. And he's going to hopefully go in and just touch the tank and then save my table edge over here from getting blasted. So... And then the Carnifex has moved up just to get in range of the suppressors if I decide to shoot there. It's going to depend on how the smiting and everything else goes against the aggressors. And the Malanthrope moved up to keep that -1 hit bubble just to really keep them alive. So if I tag the tank and then he goes to shoot at them, I'll be in quite good position. So we'll come back after the Psychic phase and shooting. Alright, so that's it for shooting in Psychic phase. So what happened? The Zoanthropes moved up here, smited in, and Psychic screamed, dropping the aggressors down to 1 guy. Then this Carnifex right here shot in at him with his Devourers, dropped him down a wound, and then failed miserably with my Venom Cannons. I rolled terrible with heavy Venom Cannons. I missed every single shot with my heavy Venom Cannons. And then over this way, he withered an absurd amount of damage. The Intercessors are gone in the middle, but it took my Tyranifex, all my warriors, all of them, just to get them down to the very last wound. So absorbed a ton of damage down there. I mean, there wasn't a lot I could have shot at elsewhere with them, but they're gone. And then the Hive Guard fired in, took out the Dreadnought. And then it was a debate to kill off the aggressor or go for the bikes. I chose the bikes because they're the fastest one to zoom up and steal an objective from me. So I figured over here I'm contesting that objective anyway, since we both have a model in range of the objective. If he fails morale with him, that's going to for sure keep this objective safe for me. I guarantee it's safe. So a couple charges to make, and we'll come back and see what happens. All right, so that's the end of the Tyranids Turn. So what happened here? The Raveners charged in. I got a 10-inch charge, so nice amount of movement. I targeted the Land Raider. So I got over there. I knew the Chaplain would heroically intervene. He used Born Protectors on these guys, hoping to get them in, but where my charge was nice and long, I was able to keep them away. He rolled an 8, but needed a 10 to get over. So survived that. The Lictor made the charge. I rolled 3 1s on everything, so didn't do a whole lot, but I just wanted to get him in there just to touch the tank and kind of keep him out of there. Now, points-wise, I got 18 points total. I got my hold 2 points for engage on all fronts. I got all my scramblers, so we just count that now so we have a better idea looking at the scoreboard what we're at. And I got a single point from my banner right here. So that's it for Tyranids Turn 2. Let's jump into Salamanders Turn 3. Alright, so the Salamander Turn 3 movement is done. The Biker, who did not fail morale, we missed it on video. Again, we're working on this new format, and we will improve it each bat rep. Biker flew up there, not quite inside of the objective, but ready to charge in at whoever needs to be charged. The Terminators dropped in here. Not an ideal spot, but they're holding this objective and freedom to do movement over this way. Intercessor squad here moved up, ready to Stalker Bolt a shot down and hopefully finish off that Tyranifex. These Intercessors moved up, had just enough movement to get into that objective and start the scan. Then this scan was completed, so he's got 2 of them down, which guarantees 6 points. The aggressor's still alive inside of there. He does only have 1 wound, but ready to dish out some damage, and the tank stayed still so we could just plow into the Lictor and hopefully take him out. So that's the movement. We're going to see what happens after the shooting. In terms of primaries, though, I denied all his primaries, so very low scoring on that front. I've only got a single primary on my end up to turn 2, so we'll come back and see the shooting results. The end of Salamander's shooting on turn 3. So the Lictor was absolutely obliterated with a reroll. He rolled double ones with the Lascans, got 2 of them on, but then after that reroll, it just splatted him everywhere, so he's gone. Up this way between everyone on this flank, right here at least. Shooting at the Carnifex, he is alive with 1 wound, so he is not happy about that, but a charge still could be made. There was going to be some charges done shortly, but the Terminators came in here, fired over at the Malanthrope, did a wound to him, so starting to slowly chip him away. Then the Aggressor fired in at the Zoanthropes, taking one of them down to 1 wound, and the Suppressors fired in at the other Carnifex and didn't do anything to him. So my Carnifexes are holding on by a thread, but they're here nonetheless. So we'll come back after some charges have been attempted, and we'll see what happens, then talk about the points. All right, so that's the end of the charging. The Aggressor came in, hopefully to take them out. The Zoanthropes actually took him out, which was crazy. I'm pretty excited about that. However, I'm not so excited about this side of the board, as the Terminators made a huge charge and took out the Gaunts, getting 8 inches, which was all they needed. But the way they were positioned, though, he didn't take the objective from me, but now I don't hold it. However, I still have my banner, so not a complete loss. So in terms of points, no points scored for the Salamanders this turn. However, he did lock in that objective as scanned, so guaranteeing himself at least 6 points. But now I have to take out this big group here to deny him 4 more points. And I still have another Lictor back here to cause some havoc. So we'll come in after Tyranids Turn 3 movement and take a look. Alright, that's the end of the Tyranid movement. So Warriors moved up this way since there's no more deep strike threat to take on the Terminators or fire into the middle if needed at those Intercessors. Tyranifex has stayed still. The Carnifex has moved up with the Malanthrope. These Gaunts moved up, threw a banner up right there. I shifted the Prime enough that he's giving off his buff, but he's also out of line of sight if anything comes through the middle, if he survives there. The Lictor, actually, I decided to go for the Land Raider, as I thought that'd be more of a threat coming up to take out my Warriors, who are going to come over and nab me this objective, because I'll probably have to charge them, because I don't think I'll kill them all. Kill them all. And then these Zoanthropes moved up to get smiting and whatnot in that direction. So we'll come back after the Psychic and shooting. Oh, one other thing we forgot to mention is the Bike tried to charge the Carnifex last turn. I overwatched. He just wanted me to burn a CP, and I took him out. So if you're wondering where the Bike went, that's where he went. All right, so that's it for Tyranid shooting. So actually quite a strong turn for me for rolling. I took out all the Intercessors, but I had to use both my Carnifexes, both Tyrannifexes, or sorry, not the Tyrannifexes, the Hive Guard finished them off. So the Hive Guard and these 3 guys finished them off. And these Zoanthropes also psychicked in and managed to take out 2 of them, or 1.5, sorry. The Warriors fired in at the Terminators. They killed 1, and then this Tyrannifex double shot killed off another. Then I double tapped, burning up all my CP for these Hive Guard to take the Terminators down to just 1. So a couple charges to do, and then we'll come back for the conclusion of Tyranids Turn 3. So that's it for Tyranids Turn 3. The Warriors came in, finished off the lone Terminator, and the Lictor back that way charged in just to tie up the tank and keep him out of there. So I have a total of 27 points, getting 3 for my engage on all fronts, 1 from the existing banner, and I now control that objective as well. So the score right now is 27-0 as of right now, but still some secondaries you can catch up on. We'll come back after Salamanders Turn 4. Alright, so that's the end of Salamanders Turn 4. We're going to call it here because just of how everything went, there's no possible way that he can catch up as of right now. But we had a good talk about the game, and we'll go over that. So what happened was the Predator fired in over this way and took that Carnifex down to 4... Or no, sorry, the Suppressors took him down to 4 wounds. The Predator fired in at the Tyrannifex right here and melted him. Oh, no, right, yeah. Sorry, I got them mixed up. Tyrannifex. So the Predator fired at that one. Didn't go well. Only 1 wound went through and dropped him down 2 wounds. So he survived. And then he got a single wound through with the Stalker Bolters and actually took that one out. So we did get 3 points, but as of right now, I hold this objective, that objective, the one over there. So I score all 3 of my primaries. I'll get 2 points for engage, 2 points for the banner, which just puts me too far ahead. And then him having the final turn with no objectives, he can't catch up. But we did talk over the game. It was some interesting points. I think he may look into strategic reserving either the aggressors or something else to come in. Because if they came in even on the side up close to me, it would have been bad. Would have been a lot of shots coming in. And I think what was it, a Land Raider Helios or Achilles? That one I think was good, being more aggressive. With that, changed how I was playing. I just got fortunate enough to tie it up. I'd almost even look into like almost having something to screen it. I think would have been beneficial because getting up there to tie it up worked out really good for me. But yeah, and then also we talked about how my list was, and really that Tyranifex with 1 wound should have died a long time ago. Like he was on 1 wound for almost the whole game. So, or I think he was 2 wounds or something like that. But either way, it was a much closer game than it ended up. It was 46-9 in the end, but it was a close game. Aside from that, it was just a few lucky rolls on the Tyranids' part, which kept some key units inside the match. The other thing as well is we talked about like throwing 1 unit at a time into the middle there, because I chewed through them pretty good. And letting the Lictor come back there. This is my first time using Lictors, so he hasn't experienced, like, they're kind of a little tricky. Just throwaway units that I use to get points, but believe me, that will never happen again. So my Lictors may be hiding again for a while. But that was it, so we're going to continue to play through the Grand Tournament books, and if you have any suggestions for this new format of filming, we're going to continue improving on it, and leave any comments below.